Hello, beautiful humans. I'm Jem Madrone, and today I wanted to talk about phase 4 of the 7 stages of spiritual awakening. And this one is really where the deep personal work begins. We may feel like it has begun before, we're excited about the process, but at this point is usually when the excitement of the initial awakening experience and the initial entryway into awakening begins to wear off, and we start to have a little bit of a oh shit moment, like what did I get myself into? And this is often the point where we wish that we could go back, where we want to turn around, though we know that we can't, that's just not an option for us. And it usually comes after the phase of separation and isolation has begun. And then the process of awakening, of the awakening experience that has caused a vibration, a frequency shift in our body and raised our vibration, and combined with letting go of so much of our old beliefs and old ideas about what life is, and then separating from a lot of the things that our old life consisted of. All of those things serve to allow our wounding and our traumas and everything that isn't a vibrational match with where we are now comes to the surface so it can be released. And when it all comes, it's almost like a little bit of a shock to the system. It can bring up a lot of anxiety. There can be a lot of depression and a lot of emotions during this phase, because all of these old things that we have spent our whole life shoving down and keeping buried and not dealing with are now coming to the surface so that we can look at them. This vibrational shift has shaken things loose, and all of our old shit is coming up. And now we have no choice but to look at it. And it can come in the form of old traumas coming to the surface. It can come in the form of new things shifting and changing in our life, or periods of crisis because of what's going on in our personal life can also trigger the dark night of the soul. But it's always a perfect storm and a perfect combination of things that opens up space for us to do the healing that our soul has been waiting to do. And it usually is pretty messy and usually really challenging. And it can look like a million different things, but what it really looks like is us processing our old baggage, our old trauma, our old woundings, and doing some really deep healing. And it can be a short period of time, it can be a really long period of time. We can have times where we get through one, we feel like we've gotten through our dark night of the soul, and then something new comes up, and it just becomes this rolling dark night of the soul. And so, it can last years for some people, but it is really important that we stay present with this process, that we don't run from the things that are coming to the surface, that we don't run from the emotions that are coming up, and that we really face what it is. And the more that we face the things that are coming to the surface with as much courage as possible, is the more efficient we will be in the process, the more we will get out of it, and also the quicker we'll move through it. When we have resistance, which is normal, and we always have some form of resistance, at some point, but when we really dig our heels in and we have resistance to the process, it just makes it last longer. It just makes it take even longer, and also is just more painful because it's already up there. It's already on the surface. And so we have no choice but to face it, look at it, and heal it. And the dark night of the soul stuff, it come in so many different forms. It's not just one thing, but it is always the trauma that we've been burying, the belief systems, the old programming, the things that we just don't want to face in ourselves. And so this dark night of the soul is a really beautiful time, even though it's extremely painful. But the reason that it is so essential is that it is really, it's the detox part of the awakening process. It's the burning off of the old things that don't serve us, the burning off of the things that are separating us from ourselves, separating us from spirit, separating us from our purpose on this planet. And so it really is a very essential part of the process. And so if you are going through this right now, be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself, and know that one way that we can move through this even faster, or the one way that we can work with this process as we're doing this healing, is to honor the things that are dying in ourselves, to honor and release all of those things that are no longer serving us, and to process them as much as needed and let them go. And so that is something that we're doing on, I think it's next Tuesday actually. And that's what we do in our dark moon meditation and journey that we're doing every month. And so if you are in this process right now, this would be a great opportunity for you to do some of this processing and to honor what's dying in you and help to complete this cycle of healing so that you can move forward in your life. And so there's something in the group about it. I'll post a link to it in the comments, but it's just about an hour and a half journey and meditation time that's really, really potent and really fun too. I enjoy it. But I also want to mention that collectively we are going through a dark night of the soul. And it's been happening for a long time, pretty much since COVID started. And it's just like the personal dark night of the soul, because as soon as we feel like, okay, I think we're done with this collective dark night, I think we're done with this cycle of, stress and anger and separation and all of the bullshit that's been coming up with it. As soon as we start to think that, bam, like something new comes. And so we're still in the thick of this collective dark night of the soul as a planet. And this is really, it's just as important collectively as it is to us individually. And it serves the same purpose of transformation, of detoxing, of clearing off all of the shit that's been shoved down under the surface as a collective, as a human race. And so it's intense. But know that we're still in the middle of this collective dark night of the soul. And so the same thing that we do individually, we can do collectively. Honor what's dying as a collective. Honor what's coming to the surface and let it go. And let this be a detoxing process. And so even if you don't feel like you're in a real personal dark night of the soul right now, you might still be feeling it as an energy in your body and kind of like, oh, I don't know, like, what is this? And that definitely may be the collective dark night energy that you are feeling right now. And I think everyone's feeling on some level. And so be gentle with yourself, be gentle with each other, be compassionate, because we're all going through this together. And it's really important that we move through this, because as we move through this as a collective, then we will be able to transform and shift this entire planet. And so know that this is also really important for us, and that we are moving towards a higher vibration. We are moving towards a new way of living collectively, even if it looks really dark and messy right now. So I'm just sending you guys so much love to all of you that are in your dark night right now. Just sending you so much love and compassion. Thank you for doing the work. And if you're feeling like you need more assistance or help with the process or any part of the awakening process, please reach out to me, send me a private message, and we can talk and see if the work I do would be a good fit for you. So sending you guys so much love, and I'll see you in the Facebook group. Mwah. Bye.